Tracy here at SCC Fitness, and we are back with part 2 on our 4-part series of the glutes. Alright, so make sure you check the blog post from last week for part 1. Went over some anatomy, function, and hip flexor relief. So we're going to do a quick review of joint actions and what each glute muscle does. Go over hip flexor stretches quick and then talk about some glute activation stuff today. So first thing we'll go over glute max, alright, so the big boy. 2 actions. 1, extension. So Tracy's our demo over here. There you go. So taking that leg back. 2 is external rotation. So turning the front of that femur out. Alright. Glute med. Glute med does external rotation again, just like she just demonstrated. And it also is a stabilizer of the hip. So as she stands on one foot, that's what keeps that hip from collapsing, is kind of keeping those hips up, also known as abduction. Alright. Last one, glute minimus. Alright, glute minimus helps with hip flexion, hip abduction, as well as hip internal rotation. Alright, it's kind of the opposite of the other ones. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about hip flexor stretch. Alright, so a little bit different what we showed in the last video. These are a little bit more regress versions, I guess you could say. So good places to start, and then work your way to the one we showed in the last video. A little bit backwards, but we wanted to kind of show a fun one last week. So this week we're going to show you the regress version. So Tracy's going to go ahead and have a kneel on the floor, and she's going to demonstrate these bad boys. So first thing, set up 90-90. So front hip, front knee, 90 degrees. Knee directly below her hip, so less than 90-90. Alright, and then what you're going to do is she's going to posterior tuck. So you can kind of see her roll those hips underneath. At this point, you should already be feeling a hip flexor stretch. Alright, you notice Tracy's toe behind her is pointed away. Alright, so that's step 1. If you want to progress this a little bit, you can pull it underneath. So that way it actually adds a little bit more knee flexion in there. All right, and then the same setup, posterior tuck, push forward just a little bit. Make sure you're squeezing the butt cheek of that down leg. So in this case, Tracy's right glute. All right, and we're gonna take that a little step further. We're gonna take that hand up overhead. All right, you're gonna reach across just a smidge, and then she's gonna rotate away from that front leg. All right, so here we're starting to get into a little bit more of a psoas stretch. All right, so it's kind of inside, yep, it kind of goes up through your body or torso, you can say, and into your, or attaches to your lumbar spine. All right, then the next one, we're gonna do a little TFL stretch. All right, so arms straight out ahead, and you're gonna rotate towards the leg that's forward. All right, so kind of lengthening and twisting that downside of her body there. So you just wanna rotate over as far as you can, maintain that posterior tuck, squeeze those cheeks, and then back to the middle. All right, so good hip flexor stretches. From there, then you would progress to the one that we talked about last week, where you're kneeling down, foot is up on a bench, or we used our foot the last week, something like that. That would be your tougher version. So we're gonna go over some glute activation stuff next.
All right, guys, we're going to go over some glute activation drills here, but I want to make sure that I point out to you that you want to do your mobility first. You want to make sure you have some warmth in your body, and then you go into your hip flexors, psoas stretches, glute minimus, things like that. But you want to hold those between 30 seconds to 2 minutes per side, or at least until you feel a release before you go into these. You want that release before you activate the glutes, because again, you're not going to get the activation if you don't get the release first. So I'm going to have Cody actually use the wall for these, because if you don't have a personal trainer, the wall is a really good tactile cueing for you. So he is going to put his whole backside on the wall. And that means shoulders, upper back, mid back, glutes, and then you're going to see his feet. So the biggest thing you want to make sure is that you keep your feet together and full contact. And what he's going to do is just a clamp. He's going to come up, slowly hold, and then come down slowly. He's going to do about 12 to 20 reps of these, and he's going to start to really fire that glute. Now, as you progress in these and you get more efficient in them, you can always add a band, or if you have an ankle weight, you can add those also. And the next exercise that he is going to do, and this one's a little bit more tricky, so the clamp people tend to be able to put weight on right away, but as soon as we get to this one, you'll find that your low back pops off. So again, starting off without that band or any kind of extra weight is a good idea. So he's going to extend back, his heel is going to stay on the wall, so again, you have that cueing so you know where you are. His foot is going to internally rotate. He's gonna slide his heel up the wall, maintain contact, and down nice and slow. So again, he doesn't want to lose any of that contact, but he's getting a really good glute burn.
Oh yeah.
Here. So,
Oh yeah.
firing them up. And again, the band does work if you need a little extra, but you don't want to end up bending your knee to try to keep your heel on there and then get that arch. So again, keeping full contact. Don't always progress until you have the good form on the lighter version.
All right, guys, so that wraps up part 2 of a 4-part series on the glutes. Definitely give all that stuff a try. Remember what we covered in the hip flexor section? Talking about those hip flexor stretches, those are the most regress versions. So always start there and work your way up. We always have a tendency to want to do the cooler versions of things or the harder, most progress versions of things. And at that point, it's really hard for us to get out of that anterior tilt. And some people will jump in, they're like, I don't have much of a stretch here, so I don't need to do them. But if we go to the regress versions, they're getting a really good stretch and a really good release. So make sure you start there before you move on. Definitely give those glute activation drills a try. We've been doing them here at SEC with our family members, and they're loving them, we'll put it that way, all right? Definitely get those guys activated. Like Tracy said, 12 to 20 reps, really get them burning before you go into your main list for the day. Next week, we'll be back with part 3, which we're gonna talk about tying in glutes into single leg movements, and maybe a little bit of tweak to our single leg RDLs that we've come across that we wanna make sure we're spreading the word on to increase your glute activation, get those hamstrings to shut off a little bit more. All right, as always, if you have any questions, you know where to find us, 105 West Milwaukee Street down here in Janesville. Otherwise, you can always give us a call, shoot us an email, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or our website. Thanks for watching, guys.